Hello, how are you guys doing today? This is Miss Jackson. We're going to be talking about a few things on today about this stimulus. How about that? Have you all received your stimulus yet? Are you getting it on your tax return? Okay. Are you getting it on your tax return? And if you have not received it yet, I'm going to give you, actually it's going to post this telephone number in the chat. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. That's the telephone number to the IRS regarding your stimulus. Okay, guys? If you have not gotten your stimulus and you haven't did your tax return, you can still call and check on it. Okay? Call the 1-800-919-9835. You can check on your stimulus there. You can go to irs.gov and go to get my payment and put your information in there. It'll tell you whether you're going to get your stimulus in the mail or you might just have to wait and get it on your tax return now. And on the tax return, it's called the Recovery Rebate Credit. Okay. So hopefully whoever do your taxes can tell you whether or not you're going to, how much you're going to receive on your tax return for your stimulus. It's called the Recovery Rebate Credit. Now, remember, if you don't remember how much you received on that first stimulus, because that's a question they're going to ask you inside the tax return. Whoever doing your taxes will ask you this question. If you're doing your own taxes, this question will come up about your stimulus. It'll ask you whether you received your first stimulus and your second stimulus, or it would ask you, did you receive the first stimulus? Yes or no. Or did you receive the second stimulus? Yes or no. Or you received both stimulus. Okay. Now, what I'm doing, if my client do not have the information about their first and their second stimulus, not knowing what they received, you can put in that you did not receive the stimulus. It should calculate how much you should have been receiving, and then you can back out the amount that was given to the individuals. The first stimulus, you received $1,200 for the adults, $500 for the children. Okay. So if it's married, filing joint with one child, that first stimulus would have been 12, 12, 24 plus 6. So that's what? 12, 12, 24 plus 6. That's $3,000. Okay. You should have received on your first stimulus $3,000. That second stimulus will be $600 for each individual. Okay. So that same scenario, 2 adults and 1 children, that's $1,800 for that second stimulus. Okay. So that's how you can figure out what your first stimulus is and what your second stimulus is. And that then you can actually put it on your return if you have not received it. If you have not received it, it will boost your refund amount up to the amount of stimulus that you should have been receiving. Okay. So you're going to see large refunds. If you're going to get a refund, you're going to see a larger refund this year, because if you haven't received your stimulus, it will be added to your refund. Okay. All right. Now, also the next thing is make sure that I mentioned before a little workaround maybe for the individuals that's over the age of 16, where the stimulus is not coming to the individual that carried them. The workaround that I'm suggesting to my clients is, if you're going to put that person on your tax return, if you're not getting a big benefit for that person, the only thing that you'll be getting is $500 adjustment to your income. And so if you're not really needing that, I suggest that you pull that person off of your tax return, let that person file their own tax return, whether they're required to file a tax return or not. It will set them up to receive the stimulus. Okay, this is the purpose, to just set them up to receive the stimulus. So who's ever doing your tax return, you can ask them that question. Will it benefit you to either carry that person on your tax return and not receive the stimulus for them because they are over the age of 16? or could that person be removed from your tax return and let them file their own tax return, and then they'll qualify for the stimulus? Okay. Now, I'm not exactly sure if they're going to go on and pay them the first stimulus, because they were dependent on the tax return the first time that they received stimulus. I'm not sure, but it will set them up for sure for the second stimulus, which is the $600. If you have not carried them on your tax return and filed them on your tax return for 2020, pull them off that tax return, let them file their own tax return. They receive the stimulus of $600, and then they will be set up to receive the stimulus for the third time around. And we're going to talk about that too. Okay, so that's my workaround. Okay, now you can do that. You can choose not to do that, but it's left up to you. That's just a workaround. Okay, so now the third stimulus. They're talking about the third stimulus. It's going to be $1,400. Okay, and they're looking to hopefully have that on the president's desk by March the 14th. Okay, so they're looking at extending the unemployment from $300 to $400, and then extend it all the way up until August of 2021. Okay, so that's just a tidbit of information from the expected third stimulus. Okay, they're working on it. It has not been passed yet, but that is what they're looking to do. Hopefully by March the 14th, we will have some information on that stimulus. And then also they're looking to increase the child tax credit for children. And then we're talking about children under the age of 6. You get a adjustment to your income of $3,600. So if you hear that, that's what they're talking about. And that's this adjustment on your tax return. Okay, it is not money in your hand. The only money that they're talking about that the American people will receive will be that $1,400. Okay, and that will be the third stimulus. Okay, all right. Do anybody have any questions? We're going to answer a few questions for you guys. So let's look and see. Oh, somebody just asked, what about the third stimulus? I actually just mentioned that about the third stimulus. Okay, somebody asked, rebate is not helping people during the pandemic. Okay, when you say rebate, is it the recovery rebate credit? Okay, actually, it's just what they're calling it. It is still going to be your stimulus. That will be on your tax return. They just not calling it a stimulus when you put it on tax return. They call it a rebate coverage. I'm sorry, rebate recovery credit. Okay, recovery rebate credit. Okay, there it is. Okay, and it's just putting it on the tax return, giving it that terminology. But it's the same thing as your stimulus, and you will receive that. Okay, even if you having to owe a tax bill, it has a place, hopefully in the electronic part of your tax return, to put in your direct deposit information just for the stimulus. So if you owe, make sure you ask your tax preparer, hey, what do I put my direct deposit information for my stimulus? So you can put that direct deposit information, even if you owe, within that tax return, so the IRS can receive that information. So when the stimulus go out, they will have that information on file. Okay. All right. $1,400 per person. For as I know, they just said $1,400. So I'm not exactly sure if it's going to be $1,400 for the children and $1,400 for the adults. But they're going to break it down a little bit more, and I will let you know. Let me see. I need my money and need it now. Now that is my cousin, Stacy Lee. Everybody needs money. Okay, so hopefully you go on and get those taxes done, Stacy, and then you can receive your stimulus. Okay. All right. I just tuned in. Did you stay? The third stimulus, they are looking to do the third stimulus probably about March the 14th. They want that information on the president's desk at that time. So hopefully around about March, we should be hearing some concrete information about the stimulus. The 800 number you need to call in order to get your information get the ask about your stimulus is 1-800-919-9835. Does anyone get the recovery rebate? Everyone. Yes, because everyone receives a stimulus. Now, I mentioned about the age of 17 and above in my workaround. So I'm gonna need you to go back and listen to the full video, because I just suggested a workaround for the dependents age of 17 and above. What about people with SSIES? You will be receiving your stimulus, and you should be receiving that in your account that you receive your Social Security disability in. I'm going to send you all my tax stuff. Okay, go right ahead. I appreciate it. I have a secured portal that you can add, do virtual tax returns to everyone that's listening to me. I do virtual tax returns for people in the US. I have a secured client portal. I send you a link, you upload your documents, and we give information back and forward within that secured portal. And you can file e-file, you can do a bank product, all of that. So if you need those services, just reach out to Ms. Jackson. Go to my website and also follow me on Jackson and You Tax Service on Facebook, okay? I need you guys to follow me so you can actually get all of my updates. As you see, Ms. Jackson just pops in. This is a Saturday. I usually come on during the week. So you want to be able to listen to the information as I give it. So make sure you go to Jackson, the ampersand, and the letter U, Tax Service LLC on Facebook, and follow. And you'll get alert as I go live, okay? Well, kids get it too. Yes, the children will be receiving a stimulus amount of $600 this go round. Okay, did this get the second stimulus one because there were some pending issues with my taxes? Will I receive the third one? Okay, so you said your pending issues, is it with your 2020 tax return or is it with your 2018 tax return? Okay, if it's for any tax return before 2020, just go on and file your 2020 tax return and e-file it, okay? If it's going to be an issue with your 2020 tax return, it's going to be rejected immediately, and then you will know how to address that issue. But you want to file your 2020 tax return as soon as possible, because you can e-file it, and that's where your stimulus is attached to. I have some clients that has not filed taxes in the prior years. I suggested them to go on and file the 2020, because that's the one that the IRS is going to get immediately and attach your stimulus to that. Let's see. The get payment said mailed out on January the 6th and haven't received it yet. Do I need to file on my tax return? Yes. If you do not have your stimulus as of yet, go on and file your tax return, because it will be attached to your taxes, because the IRS actually knows who received stimulus, and once they get it according to their social, they'll let them know. And just remember, if you file your tax return for 2020 and you have received that stimulus, the IRS will know. So it will be less the amount that your stimulus was when you received it, okay? Let's see, no 2019. I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about on that one. Okay, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Miss Jackson is not going to hang out with you too long today. I'm trying to see if I answered the questions. Okay. Once again, that IRS number to the stimulus department is 1-800-919-9835. And once you call that number, just stay on the line. Let it go through the whole, whatever they're going to say, the message. At the end, a person will come on the line. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in with Miss Jackson. Like I say, I do virtual tax returns. If you need my assistance, reach out to me. You can go to my website, jacksonandyoutax.com is my website. You can check me out there. see how who I have on staff with me that's working with me on these virtual tax returns. We'd be glad to service you. Reach out, follow me on Jackson, the ampersand, the letter U, Tax Service LLC on Facebook, so you can be alert when I come back with some more detailed information about that third stimulus. Thank you. May God bless each and every one of you. You all be safe. And it is freezing here in Dallas area, so I'm not sure how it is where you at, but you stay warm and be blessed.